footytips.com.au TV.
G'day everyone, welcome to footytips.com.au TV. My name's Jimmy Smith. We're here for round 21 of the NRL, and Lana Taylor, how are you going?
I'm going well, Jimmy. Warmer weather. I think we're coming into...
A little bit warmer.
Getting closer to the finals. I can feel it.
Yeah, it's a lovely orange glow in the studio tonight, and it's not just your hair either. So that's fantastic.
Thanks, Jimmy.
How'd you go last week?
Pretty happy. Got 6. How many did you get?
I got 5. Unfortunately, I missed out on the Eels, of course. I thought
Yeah.
they'd win, and they had the opportunity to win. They 18.
I was pretty confident in Manly getting them in the end.
Yes, fair enough. Let's go to that side, the Eels, straight away. Friday night, they've got to travel over to Telstra Stadium. They're up against the Bulldogs. This is going to be a really good clash. Traditional rivals as well.
What a huge game.
Massive.
I mean, it's just everyone's going to be staying home to watch this one or getting out to the ground. A bit of a question mark, will Andrew Ryan, get off and be able to play? I think that would make a big difference in who you actually tip.
Well, I don't think he will get off. I think he'll actually be forced to
I think
miss
that's
the
a bit
game.
harsh. I mean, I definitely think that if the other player had not been cut in half with the tackle, Andrew Ryan would have hit the guy across the chest or the shoulders.
He was hitting the
The nether regions.
the nether regions. It's a lovely way of putting it. They got out of jail last week, the Bulldogs, and it was a great steal from Sonny Bill. But all game they just kept turning over footy. The Eels, I just got a problem with the Eels. When the game's there to be won, the crunch game, the game against Manly, they missed out. They just weren't there to win it. In saying that, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs, even minus Andrew Ryan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs as well. And even though, they only just got out of jail last week, I still just feel as if the Eels aren't convincing enough.
No, not convincing at all. This is going to be interesting. Speaking of not convincing, the Knights up against the Dragons, both last start losers up at Energy Australia. That's a good thing. The best positive for the Knights is they're at home.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, certainly with no Danny Buderus, they're just not the same side. And I think the Dragons, they did all right against the Dogs. So I actually think the Dragons are the better bet here.
Soward's playing well.
Yeah.
Good to see him play. Let's see whether Gazni's back. He's had another injury, unfortunately.
He's a bit injury prone, isn't he?
It's like one of those thoroughbreds, that you've got to be careful with him.
Oh, pure breeds?
Yeah, I'm not likening him to a horse, obviously, but I'm just saying he's a good athlete. That's the point I wanted to make. I think the Knights, Kurt Gidley's got to do something special, and I think he will. And I think in front of their home crowd, I'm going to tip the Knights. A depleted Knights side.
All right, I'm going with the Dragons.
Okay, let's go to Saturday night, 5:30 game. It is the Titans up against the Tigers. The Tigers at Leichhardt Oval on Monday night were absolutely sensational. Benji is back.
Every time I looked away from the TV, it was another try being scored, and I had to look back and I thought, is it a replay? No, it's another fresh try.
Yeah. And Robbie Farah had his hand and foot in everything. Yeah. He was brilliant on the night. Brady Hodgson's back. Will he play? He's got a bit of an issue too.
Not sure. I mean, people are talking that they've recaptured the 2005 form. I think it's a bit early to be that confident. I think the Cowboys, were terrible.
Yes, the Cowboys were struggling.
Absolutely terrible.
Titans, they're okay against your team, the Rabbitohs. They hung in there. Matty Rogers has that bit of class, and Scotty Prince is back as well. In saying that, Tigers too good a form. I'm going to tip the Tigers. The first game on Saturday night, it's those Cowboys up against the Raiders. Now, this is a Cowboys side. They've lost 3 in a row, and they are struggling.
They really are, and up at Dairy Farmers, you'd usually just tip them without even thinking twice. And they're up against the Raiders. This is a very long away game for the Raiders.
They don't like getting on a plane,
all the way
Raiders.
up north.
They had deep vein thrombosis for Adrian Pertel, so they hate planes.
No, I think that just because they're up against the Raiders, who don't like to travel, I really think the Cowboys must surely get a win.
I'm going to go the Cowboys as well.
There we go.
We're all the same.
Wonderful.
No, we've got one different.
Okay, good.
We'll get to that a little bit later. Next game on Saturday night, it's the Panthers up against the Rabbitohs at CUA Stadium.
Right.
This is where you take over. Right?
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to talk about the Panthers first.
Oh!
Yeah.
Shocked
me. See, Luke Pritter's back in the side.
Yes.
Tony Puletua out and Richie Williams. I actually would have preferred Richie Williams staying in the side. I think it would have helped the Rabbitohs. If anyone saw that ball that he let roll around in the end goals last week, unbelievable.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
He was a little bit, he was extremely unlucky. He had his foot to the ball just as Goodwin put his hand down on it to score.
Far too relaxed.
Very relaxed, but that's his nature. He's out. The Rabbitohs, they were very good. There was one of those games where I know they were behind, but you always thought they would win, and that's not a feeling you've often had with the Rabbitohs. Isaac Luke continues to play well, getting strong contributions again from Asatasi. So these guys are hitting good form, and they're playing well, and they're playing consistently well.
And very courageously. That's what I really see is the courage coming through. Last time they played Penrith was in that appalling conditions.
Yes.
Unbelievable rain. I'm sure that won't be the conditions this week, but I definitely think the Rabbitohs will get the Panthers.
Can you be sure about that?
I'm very sure.
No, I mean about the rain.
Yeah, I'm sure on that too.
We've still got our long-range weather forecaster. Yes. I'm going to go the Rabbitohs as well
yeah,
for
there
that
we
one.
Go, Jimmy.
Let's go to Sunday. It's the Roosters up against the Warriors. 3 wins in a row for the Roosters, and the Warriors 6 from their last 7.
Yeah, both teams in quite good form.
Very good form.
And the Warriors, our men, Wade McKinnon, Grant Ravelli.
Kick them.
They're
playing superbly.
Week.
Yeah, playing superbly.
Unbelievable. And I think... again, the Roosters, yes, they had a great win over Melbourne. How much did Melbourne contribute to the Roosters winning that with some poor form? And I actually think the Warriors, for mine, are just still too hot. I'm going to go for the Warriors.
And whilst we're on the Rabbitohs, great to see Craig Wing, who's, of course, going to the Rabbitohs next year, back into great form. I thought he was...
In the halfback jersey,
yep.
What will that mean for next year at the Rabbitohs?
Oh, anyway. Very interesting. In saying that, I think the Warriors as well.
Yeah,
I think
Warriors.
they'll get home. On Sunday up at Suncorp Stadium, it's the Broncos and the Sea Eagles. Now, this would have been an absolutely gem of a match with Darren Lockyer. There is no Darren Lockyer, but it's still going to be pretty good.
And still no Carmichael Hunt.
Yep.
But I think I tipped Manly over the Eels last week, and that served me well, and I'm going to tip them again this week.
Well, I'm going to jump on board the Lana Express. I'm going to go for the Sea Eagles in that one as well, on the back of their great defence. Yeah. So they've been good at that all year. The final game is Monday Night Footy. You can watch it on the telly, but you can listen to it on Triple M 104.9 in Sydney, and it's the Sharks up against the Storm. The Storm will be fuming, as will Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, and speaking of fuming, how fuming was Ricky Stewart with his boys' performance
point.
last week. In fact, he even said to them, don't turn up to training this week until Friday. So he doesn't want to see his boys till Friday. I don't know if that's the right tactic or not, but they are in a shocking slump, and at this point in their season, to now come up against the Storm, you could get nothing
worst case scenario,
worse.
yeah, worst case scenario. The only thing in their favour is that they're at Toyota Park, so that's a bit of a benefit, but I agree with you.
The Storm will fire back.
The Storm will fire back, Storm will win that one, and the Sharks will go to their 7th straight loss, which is most unfortunate, another end-of-season fade-out for the Sharks.
Yeah, I think they lost 10 in a row at the end of last season.
There's still time.
So they'll be wanting to try and avoid that.
There's still time for that. Okay, let's clear up what
right.
tips we went for this week.
Yes, it was the Bulldogs, Dragons, Tigers, Cowboys, Rabbitohs, Warriors, Sea Eagles and Storm.
And just the one different for me, it was the Bulldogs, the Knights, the Tigers, the Cowboys, the Rabbitohs, the Warriors, the Sea Eagles and the Storm. And Lana, our final tip for tonight.
Yes, it's actually the title of a Wayne Bennett book, and it's one of my favourite quotes of all, which is, don't die with the music in you. And
if there is music in you, add that to your perm. And it's a fabulous combination.
Perm
As
TV
you know,
is
ladies
back.
and gentlemen, we do have the return of Perm TV. In its brilliant
Special
colour.
appearance.
Until next week.
Oh, is that
later.
your tip?
That's it. Well,
oh,
it's Perm
okay.
TV.
Just have a go at me again.
Well, I can go with
Fine.
another Wayne Bennett one if you like.
That'll do us. See you later.
You always do
See
it.
you
You always
next
did.
week. Thanks,
you always
Jimmy.
get what you
Thanks
always
a lot.
got.
We're done.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Love it.
Footytips.com.au TV.